Hello, people. I welcome you to my kitchen once again. Energy is very low, but I just came back from H Mart and I bought some salmon skin and I started cooking the salmon skin and I was like, oh, maybe I just cook the salmon skin on a live. It is pretty hot, but not super hot in New York. Today, it is currently 2:45 p.m. I'm going to try to cook some salmon skin before the weather temperatures climb up again. And I don't know, maybe Memo will eat it, maybe he won't. We were doing pretty good feeding him some pouch treats with his dry kibble, but he stopped eating it today. So I figured I'd grab some salmon, maybe entice him with it. But in any case, I'm just going to sear some salmon skin or give up halfway because it's not working and make something else with it. I have some chickpeas cooked in the Instant Pot. And look, guys, this morning I peeled off the protective film, finally. This was something that we built in January, February. It only took me like 4 months, basically, to peel off the protective covering. But I got sick of looking at it, so I peeled it off today. And I spent an hour trying to make the door fit again, and it would not fit. So let me just show you. Instead of, I tried to like re-nail it again and again, re-screw it. It just didn't fit. But what finally made it kind of fit, still not a perfect fit, was that I switched this onto the outside. That one is the way it's supposed to be, or supposed to hide on the inside, but I just flipped it out on the outside. For whatever reason, when the screws were lined up on the inside, it just made the warped dimensions of this door impossible to close fully. And as you can see, it's still not a smooth closure, but I've already tried so many different times to install this, and I just think it's a faulty door. But that's why we got our money back, because that piece of shit was a piece of shit to put together. But anyway, I'm here, you're here. It's nice to not see you all again, but I guess you can see me. Yeah, that's it. I don't have a lot to blab about today. Memo might throw up anytime because he just refused to eat his food today. And I have seared the first salmon skin. We're probably going to be rendering a lot of fat today. And my house is going to smell like fish for days. Just days. Yeah, definitely not the smartest way to cook this. TBH, it's not releasing super well. But we'll try our best. Could be better. Could always be better. Not super crisp. I thought about air frying it. The noise of the air fryer is just too much to deal with today. And the cleanup. The cleanup on the air fryer is horrendous. Skin side down. Lid on. Heat on. this process would take a while, but it would be fairly hands-off. And so I thought, oh, this could be a cool live. Meaning I just talk to you guys. I'm not actually sure if anybody can hear me because this phone is so old, but that's what it looks like. And that's what that looks like. All right. I just realized I did not clean my lens. Let me clean my lens. Doot, 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 doot. Clean, 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 clean. I have been in a real rut lately. If you saw my last video, that video took like 2 months for me to edit. Just been bogged down by a lot of thoughts, anxiety that spins nowhere. And yeah, motivation is super low. I don't really know if this is a me thing anymore. I'm kind of starting to think that it's like both me and not me. So once I hit a certain point in my lack of motivation, I just sit very still. Very, very still. I have been picking berries. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I've been picking mulberries and service berries. So the white and the purpley bumpy ones are mulberries. These are mulberries. And then I've also been picking service berries, also known as June berries. They're kind of like this deep, dark, violet, red, blueberry looking thing. And they have some nice big seeds, not big, but like discernible seeds in them. And I guess I'll wash these and eat these. I just picked these today. This is about all that I pick in a day. And then I also grabbed some sour plums off of a tree that I passed by on my way to Home Depot. These are probably going to be very, very sour. And then we have fresh berries. I'm gonna see who's here today. Hi, Gary. Jubilee. I'm just reading off all the names that I recognize. all the usual names. But hello, everyone else. Hey, Wyoming. India. Okay. Hi, India. Wow. Yes, I just tried to clean the kitchen today. Because it was a mess. Because my mind's been a mess. And I'm glad you liked the chicken drumstick video. Hi, Humboldt. Hi, NorCal. And so these berries, when they're ripe, they should all be sweet. That's sweet. That's sweet. That's pretty sweet. That one's a little sour, because I think these are meant to be purple, and they're kind of red. And the service berries, so good, super sweet. They're like cherry-tinged blueberries with the texture of blueberries. And you see that tip there? That's the seed. Kind of looks like a dried tomato seed. And people like to make jams with these. But, man, I just eat them. They're so good fresh. It's like my little bit of nature in New York City. Every summer, my least favorite season, this is my favorite part of my least favorite season. And I've never before made a thing out of picking berries, but this year I went hard on it. Mostly because, like, why aren't people eating these? Like, everybody should be eating these. They're all on the ground. I've seen nobody else pick them except for me. But they're great. So, if you see them around you, pick them. I found a serviceberry tree. The serviceberry trees, the branches are taller than the mulberry tree, so they're harder for me to access. I found, oh, there's a little buggy here. Let me wash. Sorry, guys. Party's over. I found a serviceberry tree in front of a school the other day, and I started picking the branches that were overhanging the fence gates of the school. And this lady like started shouting at me. She's like, "You can get fined for that." I was like, "Oh, really?" She was like, "Yeah, it's not your property." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. Didn't know that." And then I went right back and started picking more of it. I guess they could fine me for it. It's a school. I guess. If the popo came by and they were like, "We want to slap you with a ticket." But I think we should all eat more free fruit. No? Eat more free fruit. Okay, my salmon is burning. Yeah, that one's definitely overcooked. Ooh. But it released well. We did burn the edges, but it released super well. So all you have to do is wait for your salmon to actually crisp. I don't really know what to do with the salmon oil, because every time I cook with salmon oil, it's always too fishy. I feel bad throwing it out, but I kind of feel like I should save it. I don't know. You guys tell me an idea. Bye, Gary. They're not from the market. The berries are from trees. Imagine that. Just trees growing on the road. Duda. Dude. Duda. Yum, yeah. The service berries are my favorite. Maybe because they're called June berries, but maybe because they just taste so perfect. The algorithm has been hiding me from you. That's very possible. I do feel like I got very shadow banned, you know, ever since we started saying the word Palestine. But you found me. We're good. We're here. Hello. I really wanted to start filming another video today, but I'm torn, y'all. Is anyone else a content creator who watches me? Like, what do you do when you feel torn between wanting to make new content and not wanting to make content and just live your life? It's very difficult for me. I feel like it's something I could very easily stop torturing myself over, but I feel like every time I'm in a slow, slightly depressive phase of my life, I start like ruminating on, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? And that's the part where I'm just like, all right, you gotta stop this. Salmon skin, does it taste like chicken skin? I think chicken skin tastes better. I think chicken has this rich umami but clean roasty taste, and I think salmon can be overwhelmingly fatty, but it's personal preference. I don't think they taste the same though. Please be careful picking berries close to traffic as they absorb the lead from the exhaust. That's good to know. Although I feel like every single tree in New York is close to traffic. You know. Could I be slowly poisoning myself? Maybe. Very possibly. The most delicious poison. Okay. I am drinking some hibiscus apple cider vinegar tea. It is very refreshing in the summer. Tart, fruity, a little bit of a jelly-like mouthfeel from the hibiscus. The salmon is just exploding in there, okay. Shall we take a taste? Very crunchy. Burnt bits do not taste good for sure. Okay, I think for the rest of them, I should cook them not in a seared way, because this is like delicious to eat but also very overwhelmingly fatty. I am going to add a little bit of herbed salt on here. Let's see what that tastes like. Definitely better with salt. That's for sure. So I got that whole packet for about $1.55. It's about 30 cents a piece of salmon skin. The last time I bought this, I made a video out of it. So far, that was the best performing video of 2026. And I did not fry them. I just cooked with them, which I think helps you stretch out the meals and actually make use of the salmon fat, because right now I'm just rendering them and it's just burning in there. But it is very delicious if you like crunchy, fatty things. It's like a salmon potato chip. Hibiscus is good for the kidneys? Didn't know. Oh my goodness. Memo is feeling okay. I mean, he doesn't like the heat. None of us do. But I turned on the AC with him in the living room yesterday and we just hung out there. I started reading Infinite Jest because a coworker started reading it and she wanted like moral support from others, so I started reading it. I tried years ago and I didn't like it, so I stopped within like 8 pages. I'm gonna try it again. We'll see. I'm on like page 60 something. Okay. I wonder how fishy the tacos or tortillas would be if I used salmon fat instead of lard to make tacos. Alright, I think for the rest of these, because I have enough crunchies to eat. Wow, look at that. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. We're gonna salt it. Yes. Fuck a fish oil capsule. We're eating salmon skin. Alright. I'm gonna put these in here. I'm gonna add some sort of liquid because I'm done with frying. just gonna add some water. We'll put in some seaweed. It'll flavor the soup. It will be delicious. I'll maybe put in some tofu in there. Make it like an Asian soupy thing. I just cooked all of this morning, and by cooked I just mean blanched. So what you see on top is rice cakes, and they're a little bit dyed by the purple cabbage blanched. I blanched some greens that I got last week from the farmer's market, and some tofu and some yuba, which is tofu curd. So I think we can just make ourselves a little handy dandy soup, you know? I'm pouring out the liquid in here because it's probably flavorful and it's got some vitamins, but I also don't want the liquid in there. I want the liquid in here, and we'll add more water as we go, maybe. These rice cakes. I'm just gonna put tofu in for now, and then I'll add the greens later. This way the tofu can soak up the fat from the salmon, and it'll be a relatively clear flavor in case Memo decides he wants to try some. Speak of the devil. Here he is. I wonder if he would like some salmon? He likes some salmon, bye-bye. I'm gonna peel some of the salmon meat off the skin for him. See if he wants it. He usually doesn't like flabby stuff like this, so this is for us. Would you like to try, BB? No, you don't like? You don't like it? Wow. Rejected. Well, good thing I didn't save more for him. Ready? Ready for this? Hi. You want some fresh? I just mopped these floors yesterday. Hey, come here, finish your fish. Finish your fish. Finish it. Finish it. You got my floor all dirty and you're not gonna finish it. Ugh, this cat. This cat is killing me. You're killing me. You. You're killing me. Wow, there is a child who is crying out a lung right now. Anyway, that's Memo. You know, he's alive and still being picky as hell. What if you use the roux? Yeah, I could for some seafood sauce. The problem is I don't really eat seafood. This is the most seafood I eat. I have had those fried salmon skin bagged chips with the nori. I do like them a lot. Ooh, I'm glad you tried the granola hack. Yeah, I didn't know it was like a very common thing until after I made that reel. And then I Googled it. Turns out stovetop granola is very popular. I use that same technique, by the way, to candy nuts. Although I would recommend toasting your nuts first. You can also toast your oats first, too. just like the next time your oven's on, after you're done baking everything and you turn it off, you can throw a single sheet of nuts in the oven and just let it cool off with the oven. And usually that toasts it very nicely. A light toast. I have not heard of the GAP diet. What is the GAP diet? I'm not sure where that question is coming from, but yes, there are dried prawn chips from Asian supermarkets that you can fry yourself. They're not the same as the shrimp chips though. The shrimp chips are like this long, kind of pinky-sized rice wheat flour based snack with like a little twisty design on it. I haven't seen those sold in dry. I think I might pop some popcorn later. I went to Dollar Tree on an errand run with a friend and I found this bag of Jolly Time popcorn, $1.25 for 20 ounces, which is about $1 a pound. I did buy, not too long ago, Bob's Red Mill popcorn, which was nice. I tried the Trader Joe's popcorn, like popping corn, for a long time. I like that, and then I saw it at Lidl, and I was like, oh, let me try the Lidl one. And the Lidl one is not good. I do not recommend the Lidl popping corn. It doesn't feel fresh. I think the Trader Joe's one is organic, and the Lidl one wasn't. Price point is about the same, so I would recommend Trader Joe's over Lidl for popping corn. And I wanted to try out this Dollar Tree Jolly Time one versus Bob's Red Mill. I mean, I'm hoping Bob's Red Mill wins, right? Because I paid more for it, and they seem to have a better reputation. Incorporating meat broth can help tons. Yes, I get that. I grew up with a lot of meat broth. My parents would often buy bony cuts of pork, and we would eat a lot of meat soups with the rice as the main. So that kind of eating style is very familiar to me, and I'm sure there's a good reason for why my parents ate that way. You know, Chinese people are kind of tied to eating for health for a lot of the TCM, traditional Chinese medicine ways. So I believe it. Hard for vegetarians though, right? Like meat broth. So it's a shame Memo doesn't like this. He seemed really into it, but he gave up very easily. I'm not sure what his deal is. I'm just gonna slice the salmon skin while it's in the pot so it's easier for serving. I guess I'll fish out a little for setting aside for Memo, just in case he changes his mind later, which he might. Who knows? Save him some of the meatier bits. Crazy how I'm saving the best part for my cat to reject later. Anyway, I will go in with some rice cakes now. Some greens. Yuba and purple cabbage. And that might just be what I eat for the rest of the day. So. I think instead of seaweed, I'm going to go in with some miso. Miso just has a sweeter profile. I think I just want something sweet right now. So, here's the purple spork. If you know, you know. That was probably more miso than I needed. That was like a tablespoon. Yeah, that was 30% sodium right there. Gonna add a little bit of white pepper. It's good at cutting away some of that fishy gaminess. What else do I want in here? Ooh, I'm gonna throw in a little bit of mustard powder. Again, also for that gaminess cutting through. A little bit of black pepper. Love a good white pepper, black pepper match. These days when I cook a pot of mush like this, I kind of think wistfully and a little bit with sad remembrance. After my mom passed away, I was cleaning out her fridge and I found this pot of like mishmash, just kind of like this. There was like rice and cabbage in there. It looked really sad. It looked like slop. And I was like, oh man, mom was eating this way. That's so depressing, right? But now I'm eating this way. And I really like it. Like, yeah, it doesn't look the prettiest, but I'm getting all my nutrition in. The leftovers look horrendous visually, but they are an easy breezy thing to just feed myself with on busy, low energy days. And yeah, maybe mom knew what's up. Maybe I should stop being sad for her, I guess, is what I'm working through now. So this is what I do with the hibiscus, just hibiscus powder in the jar. I fill it to the top with water and I let it sit overnight in the fridge. So I have multiple jars of it going because I go through so much of this on hot days. It's just very incredibly cooling. And it's pretty to look at. And it's apparently good for your blood pressure. And apparently super high in vitamin C. So you know, endless benefits. Okay, what do you guys want to talk about while I eat my salmon crisp? I'm gonna hang out for maybe half an hour more, and just chill. It's really nice being back on Alive after so long away. I think there's a nice sense of coziness when I'm back on Alive. It brings me back to a particular period of my life that I feel like I'm no longer fully in, that I feel like I'm slowly graduating out of. Which both feels like a relief, and also sad. I think all graduations feel that way. But I think I am just getting, I don't mean this in a bad way. I want you to be very neutral when you hear this. But I do feel myself getting old. The mentality's a little bit different. I still go through the kind of like adolescent, emo, angsty moments, but I feel like the undertone of it is different now. But yeah, the lives remind me of a time when I was maybe like hitting the peak of my time in food media, and I was starting to break off solo, and I felt like there was a lot of potential to explore. Not to say that there isn't a lot of potential to explore now. It's almost like I don't have any desire to explore potential much anymore. Um, oh, thank you for the information about the GAP diet. Okay, gut dysbiosis imbalance of gut flora. An increased intestinal permeability, commonly called leaky gut. Underlying causes of... Oh, I believe that. Yeah, the cutting board is still here. I'm behind on comments. Conditions like ADHD, autism, autoimmune. Okay. Are we lumping ADHD and autism into the autoimmune camp? That's interesting. There certainly is a lot of correlation between those populations for sure. A highly restrictive elimination stage lasting weeks to a year. Homemade meat, fish stocks, probiotics, stews while eliminating grains, sugar, starchy veg. Oh, starchy veg too? Damn. That sounds like a lot. Boil the veggies with tofu or tofu skin or tempeh and things like groundnuts, peanuts, yams. Interesting. Best beginner-friendly miso? I would say go with the yellow miso. Don't go for the red. The red is for advanced people. The red is like, kind of like molassesy. So it's got that like dark, heavy, like womp flavor that I don't love. The yellow miso is very friendly. I go with a low sodium one. You can use too much of it. But even though I used low sodium this time, it's still quite high. It still tastes very salty to me, so I didn't really taste the difference. Usually they come in like 16 ounce, 1 pound packages like the one that I showed you, but they do come in smaller ones if you don't want to commit. If you want to give yourself the best impression of what miso has to offer, I would opt for something that's made in Japan and potentially from a Japanese store, just so that you don't get turned off by like a lesser product your very first time trying it. But if it's out of your budget, honestly, if you like the vibe of fermented, salty, slightly sweet, savory bean, I don't think you can go wrong with miso. It's a very lovely flavor that I think works well with veggies, fish, meat, starches, anything really. What was the cause of my mother's death? I'm gonna say stress, but nobody really knows. A mystery. I don't actually know if it was a heart attack, but her death certificate does say cardiovascular. But yeah, she just dropped dead when I was out of the country, and I had just texted her 7 hours prior to getting the notification that she died. Very surreal. Yeah, I do talk to my dad. It's nice. I think after my mom passed away, I kind of picked things up with my dad. You can freeze miso. I don't recommend it. Miso is very salty, so if you keep your container clean, if you use clean utensils and you don't introduce bad bacteria to it, it can stay fine in the fridge for a very long time. The only reason why I don't recommend freezing miso, even though most of the applications you're going to use miso with is heat-based, miso is kind of a probiotic in that it is fermented, so once you expose it to temperature extremes like boiling or freezing, you know, those microbes just die. But yes, I believe you can freeze miso. There's very few things you can't freeze. I used to think you can't freeze soft cheeses until I kept those mozzarella balls in my freezer for 3 summers, and I was like, yeah, they're not as good fresh, but if I'm cooking with them, I don't really notice a difference. The only thing I don't recommend freezing is egg yolks. You can actually separate eggs into egg whites and egg yolks, and you can freeze the egg whites. But the egg yolks, after they get frozen, do not ever run again. They just kind of stay in their gelatinized form even after defrosting. So that's one of the things that I don't recommend freezing. I also don't recommend freezing salad greens before they're cooked, because I think once you defrost uncooked salad greens, the cell structures that they underwent, the cell structure changes that they underwent during the freezing process basically ruptures all of the structure, and you just kind of end up with like mush. But you know, people do grind up herbs and make ice cubes with them to save herbs that way. I guess you can blitz your salad greens and put them into ice cube form, but who wants to have salad green soup? I mean, maybe some people do. That's, yeah, why not? There's gazpacho, which is tomato soup, so you can make salad green soup if you want, I guess, cold. What was the psyllium husk fruit jelly you were making? Did you make it in a video? I kind of made it in a video, but not in that presentation. If you look back to my pie video that I made recently, that I joked reminded me of a Erewhon vegan raw pie, that one had psyllium husk in it. Basically all I do is I blend fruit up with a tablespoon or so of psyllium husk. Depending on how set you want it to be, the more solid you want it to be, the more psyllium husk you use. And then I make like a no-cook fruit jelly jam with it that I eat with yogurt, or sometimes by itself. But it's really good with yogurt because I really like fruit with yogurt. And then you have an extra dose of fiber in that. It's really simple. I don't have a recipe. Sure, I can make a video, but this is where my creator burnout, I think, is kicking into place, where I'm just like, oh my god, can I not just live for once and not make a video out of this? This is me talking to my own head and not to you. I have to like argue with myself sometimes of like, you don't have to make a video of everything you do. Yes, this is brilliant what you're doing. For example, I have a half gallon of milk sitting in my fridge right now that expires today. And I really wanted to make a video showing off ways to make different things with that milk. And I really probably should cook that milk soon before it actually spoils. But one, it's hot, and two, I've just been so stressed. I don't even know why. I've just been having like anxiety stress dreams, so I know I'm stressed. I think I'm going through a lot of work-related burnout. I think I'm going through a lot of unconscious grief. I had always known that after my grandmother passed away, I would kind of feel the compounded release, a flood of grief. And I did for the first 2 months after she passed away, because it just felt like a sudden change. But then after, it kind of just faded away, and I was like, oh, this isn't as strong as I thought it would be. But now it's been almost a year and a half after she's passed away, and I've been in a funk lately. So it could be related, or it isn't. At this point, I don't really know anymore. It could be a lot of things, right? Certainly the world is not well, in a lot of different ways. Yeah, Andrea, reading her comment. What I have found now that I am 75 is that I wasn't aware of the continuous stages of my own life. Aging into wisdom is a weird way of soul expansion. And this is true, right? I've been trying to allow myself to graduate. I think there's a large part of myself, and maybe a lot of people share the sentiment of like trying to hold on to your youth, or trying to hold on to at least the physicality of your youth. And I think this is where all the anti-aging industries come into play. And I think as I fully evolve into my late 30s, there's a lot of changes going on with my body. There's a lot of changes going on with my health. There's a lot of changes going on with my mentality as well. And so there is a kind of like pull towards the past of like, wow, remember when you used to be that version? Like, remember how good it felt to be that version? And there's always a part of me that like, I think attempts to kind of work my way back there, as if I could build that self, that version up again. And I think for the most part, it's like a 50-50. You can, but you also can't. You know, fundamentally, you just can't be the same. But sure, you can pick parts of the past you that you like and try to build it up towards that ideal self again. But I'm trying to encourage more of myself to just move forward and see what's next, instead of trying to exert all this effort into returning to a previous idealized self. And it's funny because I think in a lot of ways we think of the past in a very kind of rosy colored glasses way sometimes, where we almost pedestalize our own past selves. Because I think back to those moments and I think there was always a part of me that wasn't happy with that self, right? So it's only when you're not that self anymore that you can idealize and pedestalize that self. Maybe this is also what happens when we start dating someone too. You know, you idealize the parts of them that you see and want to play up and emphasize. So yeah, it's a fascinating kind of thought experience. And it feels wholesome when I'm conscious of it, and it feels sometimes disastrously depressing when I'm unconsciously stuck in that kind of ambivalence of, well, I want to be who I used to be, but do I? You know? Yeah, you're shook over the mozzarella. For sure, I'm shook over the mozzarella too. I mean, you've seen me use that mozzarella in videos. In at least 2 videos, I think 3 at least. There was the quesadilla video that I used it in. There was one other video that I used it in, and it was featured in the turkey legs one. I made lasagna twice with it. That tub of fresh mozzarella, which I have dirty soil in right now with dead cat grass, this tub of mozzarella was given to me in the summer of 2023. Before the genocide happened, I was hanging out with my middle school friend, and I was chatting with him while he was making me lunch, and he just pulled this out of his fridge, and he said he got it at Costco. There's no way he can eat a tub of cheese before it expires. And I'm like, bro, you're twice as big as I am. You think I can? And he's like, yeah, you cook a lot. He was like on a diet too, so he didn't want that cheese. And I was like, bro, okay, I guess if you really don't want it, I'll take it. So then, you know, I opened it, I ate a few, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna finish this. I'm like a single person living alone with high cholesterol sometimes. And this is 2.5 pounds of cheese. So then I just froze it. And I've been defrosting it to use a few pieces of it, refrosting it, refreezing it. It's fine. There's a lot of things you can freeze, guys. A lot of things. You can freeze milk. It takes up a lot of space though. Which is why I recommend cooking things down, if you can, before you freeze. And also don't freeze liquids in glass unless you leave like 1 inch to 2 inches of gap space, because liquids expand and sometimes it can crack the glass. So you want to leave it room to expand upwards. I have cracked glass that way before and ruined everything that I stored in that glass. Do you feel more freedom as you age? Yes, I do. Because a part of me is just like, you know, you're not young anymore and your body's not going to look the same anymore. And at some point you just have to like be okay with the changes. It doesn't mean that I have to let myself go. You know, I'm still trying to do good by my body because I'm going to be living with this body for as long as I live. And I don't want to feel like I hate my body. So I want to develop a relationship with myself, with my body, with my mind in a way that feels sustainable. I also don't want to aspire towards that kind of like ideal lifestyle, ideal body, ideal mental state either, because that becomes a lot of pressure over time. It's almost like content creation. It's like anything that you try to master, basically. You keep trying to get better and better and better at this thing. And then at some point, it's kind of like the diminishing returns pattern of like, you get so good, and then anything above that level, whether it be income, physical fitness, I don't know, job, I can't even find the word for it because I'm so out of the career mindset, but job promotion, you know, it gets harder and harder and harder to get better and better and better. So the returns that you get from your input diminishes, goes down. At some point it doesn't become worth it because it leads to burnout, right? So like finding that balance is always the hardest part for me. Drawing my own boundaries and keeping myself responsible for those boundaries is hard. I don't know why that is, but I definitely need to work on my own boundaries sometimes. You know what I just realized I really want in there? I want some fennel in there. Although the heat is off, but anyway, yep, fennel makes my tummy feel better sometimes, and it tastes a little bit fresh and sweet. This was the first skin that I made, and it was not as crispy crunchy, but it was also not burnt. Trade-offs with everything. Still crunchy. Your testing on the limits of food has been wild learning in the best way. Yeah, I'm here for you, man. You know, if I get sick from it, you'll know. Don't do that. Kale would probably be the only one I'd be okay freezing. Yes, true. The hardy ones. But like, I wouldn't freeze stuff like potato uncooked. That shit is weird when you freeze it uncooked. I would cook it first and then freeze it. Same thing with sweet potato, same thing with like squashes. I have never frozen uncooked vegetables for the most part, I don't think. I think I've done it once or twice and then I was like, oh, this is not it. I think I've done it with broccoli. I ate it. I don't recommend it, but you know. For fermented foods, if kept in the fridge, can they technically last forever with no expiration? Depends. I would say yes, but things still ferment in the fridge because there's still activity from the microbes in there. So you'll notice with things like kimchi, it usually will get more sour as it sits in your fridge. If you taste it the day you buy it, put it back, taste it again 2 weeks later, put it back, taste it again 4 weeks later, put it back, taste it again 2 months later, you might notice like a deepening of that acidity. It's kind of like yeast, you know, like bread. Bread poofs with yeast. If you keep poofing it, it deflates because that yeast has eaten all the sugars it can in that dough, and that gluten network from the dough can't support the gas that it's farting out after it's eating all those sugars. So that kind of chemical reaction is taking place all the time with fermented stuff. I would say watch out. Things can get explosive. Even in the fridge sometimes, I will put like a Ziploc bag around a jar of kimchi or around something that has live fermentation. I'm not worried about it with miso because it's not watery, but anything that is watery can potentially explode. Definitely at room temperature it can, like kombucha, if you brew it and you leave it out, it can explode if you don't leave a little, you know, gas burp. So yeah, just know that if things are fermenting and there's liquid involved and there's sugar that's being eaten away by the microbes, then you will have gas. and gas can result to explosions. I'm tickled that your furry housemate is still hanging in there. Yeah, Memo is, for better and for worse, thriving for the most part. What have you been up to? Where are you working now? Katie, I feel like you've seen my lives in the last 2 years, right? I'm still doing part-time work at Burlap and Barrel. But mostly have been nursing my health back to functionality stages. I got really sick 2 summers ago. Right around the time I adopted Memo, about a month after I adopted Memo, I got mono. And I think mono is a viral infection. I think getting mono compounded my long COVID. So 2 viral, post-viral things running through my body just completely tore me down. That was also around the time that my grandmother went into hospice care. And so that was just like a very down time of my life. And ever since 2 summers ago, I've been trying to not die and to build up my health. Because I had basically no energy and was almost bedridden for a little over a year, I lost like all of my muscles, which then started wearing down on my joints, because when you don't have muscles pulling on the tension to keep certain joints in place, they just end up smashing into each other, and my knees like absolutely went to shit. My foot is actually suffering a lot. I need to get it checked out. There's a lot of pain happening in my foot. So the joints, the body is iffy, right? Once one part starts breaking, the other parts overcompensate to help it out, and then the other parts start breaking. So it's been a lot of just kind of trying to maintain my mental sanity and upkeep my physical performance in a way that I'm not like bedbound. My knees got so bad last year that I couldn't climb stairs. I think in November, my friend invited me to go hike, and I was like, I don't know if I can. It literally hurts every time I climb one stair. I had to like wince, take a deep breath, and then go up a stair, wince, take a deep breath, and then go up the other stair. I started taking elevators for the first time to go up to my 3rd floor apartment. So that was a rough time, and I'm really thankful that I'm able to be more active now. But the body is still kind of just like, it showed me how bad it could get, and it was like, you see this? Do not ever let it get this bad again. And I was like, okay. People say a lot of things that you have to do, and I found out at least half the time, if not 3/4 of the time, if not more, that there's always more than one way to do something. People will say a lot of things. People like to have rules. I like to have rules. Sometimes those rules are not really real. Yeah, my tattoos. My tattoos are really cool things that artists have allowed for me to keep on my body, and I feel like my tattoos have been a large part of my journey climbing out of disordered eating and body image issues, because I think for the first time since getting tattoos on my belly, I've started to look at my belly as like a place for other things, like art, than it is for a place for me to just like critique to no end. I remember ever since high school, I was like hugely disappointed with my belly. Even when I was stick skinny, my belly was protruding and I really hated it. I wanted it to be flat. And I think it was only after I got tattoos on it that I was like, oh dang, like look at that. The tattoos move when my body moves, the tattoos change when my body changes. And it's like really cool to see that change happen. And I think tattoos are a very therapeutic thing to experience and to grow with. And yes, there is a lot of like anxiety sometimes, and also regret sometimes when the design doesn't come out exactly like you want it to. But I think also dealing with that kind of disappointment, regret is part of the practice of graduating from a past self into a future self. Can you find a way to like the changes? Can you find a way to like the reality that did not fully match up to your expectations? Is that something you want to try doing? Do you think trying that will potentially bring you more happiness than you thought possible before? So that's the experiment with tattoos. Yes, I do identify as ace, but I don't identify it as a romantic. But maybe I will transition. I don't know. I think ever since college, I have wondered about what the difference is between a friendship and a romantic relationship, aside from the sex, aside from like the physical touch and intimacy. Is there a difference? And I thought for a long time, oh, maybe I should prioritize my romantic partner above my friends. And I think a part of my mind is still in that mode, but I don't know. My mind is like a very interesting mix of beliefs lately. So I feel like there's one part of my brain that's like, yes, I vibe with the philosophy of polyamory, but practically, I don't think I can do it. But I like the philosophy and theory of that. But yeah, I got burnt out of dating right around the time that I got sick 2 years ago. I had spent less than 2 years on Hinge, and Hinge just burned me to a char. So I think I am still healing from that experience and trying to like really work out what it is that I'm seeking from a romantic relationship, and whether or not that is a realistic thing to seek in today's world. And never say never. I think there's possibilities and probabilities for everything, but it is like a chance game. Most things are chance, right? You can do everything you think will help you achieve a certain thing, and it still won't happen. Chance. Certainly not as high on my priorities anymore, but it does feel lonely to be single. But the trade-off is freedom. So I think I actually just need to be away from people. Like, I think I can get too close to someone. Do you know someone like this in your life, maybe? Because I'm starting to see it in myself, where I think there's like a golden range for me to be close to someone, and then once I go past that, I become unbearably annoying or cloying or just something, you know? So and I'm not being down on myself about this at all. I'm just trying to take like a very realistic stance. Sometimes I'm annoyed at me. Like sometimes I'll think back to things that I've done and I'm like, why did you do that? Like I get annoyed at me. You know what I mean? So how can someone else not? That's just the reality of it. So yeah, it's all kind of just like, I'm still working out what it is. What a romantic relationship is, what it currently represents in my brain, what it could become in reality for me, and whether or not I want to pay the price to be in one, because there is kind of like a trade-off to everything. Salmon, so delicious. I don't want it every week, but when I do have it, it's delicious. I'm gonna go check up on Memo, just to see if he threw up. Treat? You gotta eat something, babes. Come here. Come here. Oh my goodness, this little guy. This little guy. The amount of attention and effort I spend on him. Wait, Amy, what did you say that's just ADHD too? Do you think I'm ADHD too? Like, I feel like I'm pretty solidly potentially autistic. Potentially because I'm not diagnosed, but solidly because my friends have all agreed that I could be. But I don't know about the ADHD part, although I do feel like after I got COVID, my attention span just suddenly shattered all over the place, and I could not keep it on track. I don't know if there would be research on this, but I would not be shocked if they find out long COVID messed up people's brains to this degree where it just gave us all ADHD. It's possible. Any favorite places to get my hibiscus? It's found in a lot of like Hispanic stores if you have Hispanic aisles. But I just get mine from Burlap and Barrel because I work there and I get free spices. Burlap and Barrel carries a powder, and the powder is really easy to cold steep. So some people prefer the flowers. They make sorrel, which is a hibiscus drink, really popular in the Caribbeans. But yeah. What you doing? Just being a little creep? Yeah? Okay. You don't want to eat your salmon? You don't want to eat your chicken? You don't want to eat nothing. I put him on a turkey break because he started rejecting turkey 2 days in a row, and I was like, bro, ain't no way you're gonna reject farmer's market $10 a pound turkey. Like, hell no. Hell no, Memo. But I think he's gonna throw up soon. Yep, he's licking his lips like, yep, there he goes. He's gonna throw up. You wanna throw up here so we can watch? No, okay. Alright guys, BRB. Ay, ay, ay. Vaughn cleanup crew. Hey, hey, stop, stop, stop. He started doing this dog thing where he started licking his own vom. I was like, no, we're not doing that. But we will use this salmon fat bowl to eat some of our soup. here's my mush. Not really mush, but we got rice cakes. We got some cabbage and greens. We got some salad in soup form. Then we have salmon skin. And we have tofu. It's all flavored by miso. Nice dose of salmon fat on the bottom there. One thing that I've always wondered is how the fish oil gels are so cheap. How do they extract fish oil like that? I ate it for a while because my doctor was like, well, if you don't want to go on statins, this might help your cholesterol get lower. And then I was like, why is this so cheap? It's so weird to be so cheap. Because fish is not that cheap. Yeah, I think Memo is reacting, and I also think he has a hard time eating on days that are hot, so I get him. I feel that way too. But today I've been hungry, and I've wanted to cook. I think because the past week has been so hot, I've not had a chance to cook yet. I bought this really nice vinegar for myself. Haven't even used it because the bottle's just been collecting dust, but now I think we can use a nice little dash of this rice wine vinegar. I'm not too worried about him. He pooped earlier today. Hopefully by 8 or 9 p.m. he'll eat, because that's usually how late he can stretch it out to. And I'll keep an eye on him. He doesn't really eat greens. He likes catgrass, but catgrass makes him immediately throw up, so I stopped growing it because he throws up anyway. I don't know what the grass does besides accelerate the vom. He's a little bulimic. Have you ever considered writing a book? I've been asked to write a book. My mom wanted me to write a book. People have asked me to write a book based on my Instagram captions. I think there's just too many books to read. I don't know if I need to make one more. Oh my goodness. Retina detachment. Oh my goodness. That sounds... I've never heard of that. That sounds painful and awful. I'm sorry. But I'm glad you're on the mend. Oof, magoof. Hey Gary. Welcome back. Alright, well, you came back in time for us to eat our fish slop soup. Nice and refreshing with the splash of vinegar. Ooh, the vinegar really hit with the black pepper. Just like exploded in my mouth. Just like a pop of black pepper. What? Where did that come from? I wish Memo were not such a sensitive boy. But him being a sensitive boy also feels like a little metronome for me. Like, I know that when Memo's feeling off, I almost give myself more grace to feel off, because I feel like he's a very sensitive boy. The weather fluctuations, the temperature fluctuations just make him freak out. So when he wakes up and he's not feeling good, I'm like, oh, today might be an iffy day for us. He's kind of my little weather forecast, but for like the soul and psyche. And body. All right, let's pop some of this corn and see how the Jolly Time pops. I still have some old corn kernels in here. We'll just add to it so it's not a totally scientific experiment, but the kernels look better than the Lidl ones looked. We'll see. We shall see. I like to add a little bit of rosehip oil that I got from Netcost. It's an Ukrainian oil. It's supposed to be really high in vitamin C. I bought it because I want to use it on my skin, but then it kind of made my skin break out this time, so I stopped using it. It gives the popcorn a gorgeous yellow-orange color, which is why I like using it on popcorn. This is the original bottle, and yes, the text is backwards on your screen, but product of the Ukraine. It's about $10 for 12 ounces, so not a cheap oil. I'm gonna put some peanuts on this plate so we can multitask in the microwave. I can roast peanuts while popping corn. Double the snack output. Sometimes the peanuts burn a little bit because the popcorn takes so long, but we'll see. We'll see. I can throw a little water in here just to keep it from burning immediately. We'll see if that works. Give the peanuts a little toss. Okay. No, it's just popcorn. You can popcorn in the microwave or on the stovetop. They work. Stovetop is probably better because you get to agitate it, so you get to pop the unpopped kernels more, but it works. I'm gonna see if I can funnel this into this maple jar. I want to keep the jar, but I don't really have a use for it, so... Oh, you know what? We should be smart about this. I should be smart about this and be a role model for you to be smart about this. Here's my piece of paper that I keep for funneling. All you need is a piece of clean paper to funnel in stuff. Keep it in a cone shape with your hand. You hear the popcorn going? Takes about a minute before it starts. Bottleneck. Bottleneck. Oops. Go slow and gradual so you don't bottleneck. Ta-da! There's a little bit left in here, but no way. You used to have the same dinner plate? Are you kidding? What are the chances? I thrifted this one. Nope, I'm just using a normal Pyrex bowl. It's not special, but they do sell silicone popper bowls. My boss has one, he loves it. I just didn't want to buy another thing. The popper bowl pops better than this, but after trialing and erroring, this bowl pops super well because I think what you want is something that's slightly narrower on the bottom and it goes up like a bowl. This one has a bit of a graduation. I found that with like bigger surface area, tall ones like the Pyrex that was holding all of my tofu and blanch stuff, that one tends to burn in the middle because you have so much surface area on the bottom, which is where it gets the hottest, and then it just burns the whole pot. You have to watch it really carefully. It's better not to pop all the kernels than to burn all the kernels. So I found for me that 4 minutes is an ideal time. I sometimes flex it up to 4.5, but sometimes I end up burning it with the half. So sometimes I just play it safe and chance it with unpopped kernels. But listen, if it's pausing too long between pops, you want to stop it immediately. I'll add another 30, we'll see. But you can see it's also reached the brim. It's still popping though. So these popcorns I think are good. These are performing way better than the Lidl ones. We're going on 4.5 minutes. I think we're reaching the tip top of the bowl now. I'm starting to smell the popcorn. And I'm gonna stop it right there because it stopped popping and I don't want it to burn. And look at that. Full. Could have made a video out of this, but I didn't. Now you have it on live. And then the peanuts on top, you see there's oily sheen. They're starting to cook too. I like to lift it off immediately to release the trapped steam from the popcorn. And you see the yellowy bits? That's from the rosehip oil. That's the beautiful color that the rosehip oil gives it. It looks like buttered popcorn. Four and a half minutes to 2 snacks. Sometimes this is my desk lunch, plus yogurt and fruit. I don't really eat meals sometimes, I just snack. And it feels delightfully bountiful. I am blessed, truly. And so this was $1.25 at Dollar Tree. I've never seen this before at Dollar Tree. I thought I'd give it a try. I was tempted by all the pretzels at Dollar Tree. And I decided, you know what? No pretzels for me today. And then I spotted these and I was like, these, slightly better snack because I can cook them. They put something in those pretzels to make it so addictive. It's like, truly like the Pringles commercial, once I pop, I can't stop. I don't really behave like that with my own baked goods, except cornbread. I can eat myself silly with cornbread. But yeah. Yeah, I used to do it on the stovetop too in a pot. That's the first time I ever made popcorn on my own was with Aaron, and he did it on the stovetop. And I like the results of it, and I like the experience of it, but I hate the cleanup of it. Like the carbonized oil that's really hard to wash off because it's like just started to burn a little bit on the pot. I have to use so much soap. I have to rinse it so much. With a glass container like this, I can be lazy. I don't have to wash it in between pops. And then I throw it in the dishwasher at the end of the week, or 2 weeks even. Just when it starts getting a little gross with like too many burnt bits, I wipe it out and I throw it in the dishwasher, and I only have to wash it when I want to wash it. With a pot, my pots are multifunctional. I have to use the pot for something else, so I have to wash it immediately. Sometimes though, what I do is I pop popcorn and then I cook something immediately after in the pot, so that I can almost let the cooking process and the steam that takes place during the cooking process take care of the oil. But this is way easier. I don't even know what a Korean melon is. So I guess I've just eaten it straight, if you mean honeydew or cantaloupe, because I don't know if I've had many other melons. The rosehip oil just makes it taste fattier. I don't have a palate distinction for oils like that. You know, you can dry popcorn, it's not as pleasurable. It works, it's just not as pleasurable. I've always wanted to try a whirly pop. Never have. I think I've had a sun melon once. I've only eaten it raw from the farmer's market. Oh, I think I know the melon. It's like shaped like a football almost. And it has slight tiny webbing russeting on it. So it's textured like cantaloupe. Is that the one? I don't know. A lot of melons, they all taste the same to me. Okay, folks, I guess that's it for today. I'm gonna go check up on Memo because he's being a finicky boy today. Maybe we can say bye to him together. Those are his foods that he hasn't eaten. Phoebe, you gonna eat something? Did you like poop in here? Because it smells like shit. Do I have to find mysterious poop somewhere? Did you decide to poop outside of the litter box to get back at me for leaving you today? Because I went on a walk with a friend. I'm now checking the floor for poop. What'd you do? What do you think, guys? Do you think he left poop for me somewhere? Look at this guy. Look at him. Did he do it? Okay, bye y'all. Thanks for tuning in.